Hey guys, welcome to another video. I'm super excited for this video because Twisted Fate is pretty much my favorite champion in the game. I've played a lot of Twisted Fate. I probably know the most about Twisted Fate out of everything in the game. So let's dive straight into it. The way I'm going to do this video, guys, I'm going to dive into the runes, the itemization, the matchups. I'm going to talk about my bans when I play Twisted Fate in solo queue. And the way I want to do this video is, this is how I actually pretty much climbed to Challenger in Season 9. I actually dabbled a little bit within it in Season 8, but mainly in Season 9, how I climbed to Challenger with Twisted Fate. And then, how I'm going to round out this video is 2 games. The first one being versus Fizz, the second one being Kassadin. These are recent games I've played actually in my placements on this account. This account finished at around like 450 LP Grandmaster or something. This was my second account. So there's decent quality games. And the reason I'm doing these 2 videos is because it's 2 different ways of applying the same similar strategy to actually winning the game. So hope you guys enjoy the video. If you have any questions, leave them below. Let's dive straight into it. So firstly, guys, the runes. So these are the runes for this specific strategy. There are a lot of different rune setups for Twisted Fate. For this strategy, though, you want to be going Unsealed Spellbook, Magical Footwear, or Stopwatch, depending on, who you're versing. And then you want to be going Dematerializer and Time Warp Tonic. And then for the secondary part of your runes, you want to be going Resolve and Demolish with Bone Plating. So again, this strategy very much relies, you'll kind of see it while I play within these games that I show you. So I'll kind of explain the runes as I go along within the games. Secondly, guys, let's dive straight into the matchups. So I'm going to go through the decent matchup first. So these are all the matchups where you can easily implement this strategy that I'm going to show you. This is versus champions like Akali, Ari, Azir, Corki, Malzahar, Lux, Victor, Vega, Orianna. Generally, a lot of like slow mid-mages. Pretty much against any slow mid-mage, you can pretty much easily implement this strategy to carry a game in solo queue. So then there's the 50-50 matchups. These can go either way. If you're an expert at Twisted Fate, they actually can kind of become a decent matchup if you really know Twisted Fate. But for the average person, these are about 50-50 matchups. These are things like Cassio, Fizz, LeBlanc, Kassadin, Kiana, Talon, Zoe, Diana. These can go very, very either way, depending on the jungle matchup, depending on the skill level of both players, and depending on your experience with Twisted Fate and playing this specific strategy. And then there's the bad matchups. And these are the ones I try to avoid, and you have to play very carefully versus them, which is Aurelion Sol, Echo, Heimerdinger, Nocturne Mid, Rise, Yasuo, and Syndra. And these are bad because they pretty much shut down your complete strategy. They never let you shove out. They can easily take cleanse. And you'll kind of see why when I talk about it. And kind of, it'll make a lot more sense when you understand the strategy when I go through it in these videos. Next, guys, in terms of itemization, I always start Corrupting Pot. Then you want to be looking to get your Catalyst straight into Rod of Ages. After you've got your Rod of Ages stacking, then you want to be looking to go into Lichbane and Zhonya's. So the order of those, again, Lichbane and Zhonya's very much depends on the champion you're versing. If you're versing a very heavy dive composition or very heavy AD team, a lot of the time I actually recommend going straight into Zhonya's secondary. Sometimes you can also just sit on Etherwisp rather than finishing your Lichbane, then finish Zhonya's. Or if you're super far ahead and there's not much threat on the enemy team, you can just go straight into Lichbane, then into Zhonya's. So that's pretty much the core 3 items, and then the rest of the build is pretty self-explanatory. You want to be going either Void or Rabadons, etc., etc. So, in terms of bans for this strategy in solo queue, at the moment, I actually ban Senna a lot, because Senna, for me, it's really annoying because Twisted Fate really relies on getting those first level 6 ganks off. And the problem with Senna is that she can actually save a lot of people with her ultimate, I found. And she can do, it's kind of like the AD version of Soraka. I personally find it really annoying. That's a personal ban for me. But the overarching standard bans for Twisted Fate, you'll see if you want to do this strategy, is, I would say, Syndra or Yasuo. Sometimes I used to ban Rise if it was meta, but not many people play Rise anymore. So mainly Yasuo and Syndra. They're the 2 that I really hate versing when I play Twisted Fate. So guys, let's dive straight into the gameplay. So strap yourselves in. So guys, diving right into this first game, I'm actually playing Twisted Fate versus Fizz. So there's a few things that you need to be thinking about. 1, the mid laner that you're versing. Do they take Teleport, or are they taking Ignite or some other form of summon spell? And this is absolutely crucial to identify very early on, because this actually changes the way you play the lane. So there's 3 main things you'll be versing, either an Ignite, a Cleanse, or a Teleport. If the enemy takes a Cleanse or an Ignite, your main strategy should be to find a way to utilize the fact that you have teleport advantage and lock them in lane so they either have to get a really poor reset or you're going to be able to get a lot of damage off on the tower, which I actually do that this game because I'm versing Ignite. If you're versing a teleport champion, it's actually going to be a lot more difficult for you to use that teleport strategy. You pretty much can't. So what you're going to have to do then is recognize that you're going to have a lot more gank threat on them because they don't have cleanse and they don't have you're going to be able to play a lot more aggressive as well because they don't have ignite for the kill threat. So you're just going to use that to farm up to your first core item. So the next thing you need to be thinking about when you're playing Twisted Fate in this strategy is the jungle matchup. Given that I have a Yi jungle and they have an Olaf jungle, already I'm thinking we're going to have no early pressure. Olaf is really strong at early levels, and we're not going to have any control early game, which means generally when you play range versus melee matchup, if you've seen my previous videos, I always say, oh, you want to slow build a wave into the tower and punish them under tower. But I can't do this game, right? Because we're going to have no jungle pressure. Olaf's going to dominate the river. And I know that I could potentially just die to a gank then. So I had to adapt. Already I'm thinking about my level 1 strategies. I have to change it around a little bit. Ideally in this matchup then, given the jungle matchup, given that he has ignite, I want to keep it I want to actually keep the wave in the middle / slightly towards me, not to set up a gank, but to pretty much shut down Fizz either going for a kill on me and then allowing me to complete my first objective, guys, which is my first objective on Twisted Fate is get to my catalyst, so 1100 gold. That's what I really want to do. So let's see this in action and kind of see how I navigate this. Given what I've said so far, how you should kind of see me play this matchup is I actually want Fizz to E the wave. So how do you get Fizz to E the wave? You walk up and you try and throw your card at him. And look at that straight away. First thing, by throwing your card at him, he's forced to E. If he doesn't E, he takes damage. But if he does E, I'm standing right next to the creeps here. See, he's already having to push. So that means it's going to be pretty much impossible for me to slow build a wave or even push towards him. Now it's completely on his terms now, which is awesome for me. So now the way I want to navigate this is keep it in the middle, but keeping in mind that I really got to be careful about taking too much damage. Otherwise, I'm not actually going to be able to get to 1100 gold. So here, guys. Straight away, an absolutely crucial tip when playing Twisted Fate is you have to very much focus on CS. Because you're so item reliant, you can't afford to miss a lot of CS. Otherwise, if you can't base for your first item catalyst, the game gets progressively harder and harder as the game kind of unfolds. So really focus on your CSing when you're playing Twisted Fate. So again, right now, see how I'm not really using my abilities on the wave. I'm trying to constantly use my cards on him. I'm just last hitting because I really don't want to push. And and again, tying it back here. I'm constantly walking up and using my W on him because I want him to E onto me. I want him to E onto me so this happens. So now the wave is going to be, yes, this is it's kind of annoying in the fact that I have to trade damage because now it's going to be a lot harder for me to get to 1100 gold. But again, I'm hoping now that with the wave pushing to me, it will be progressively easier and easier for me to farm to 1100 gold, and I'm sacrificing my HP for that cause. And I'm not hitting the wave here. I'm making sure I'm not missing CS, but again, I'm not hard pushing the wave. I'm trying to keep it in the middle, so constantly trying to keep it towards me. So again, trying to get him to E. He's constantly Eing again, which is good. Again, it's kind of heavy trading, making sure that I'm procking my corrupting pot as soon as a trade happens, so then I can order on the way out, like I did here, and then the trade becomes kind of even. Since we've both got corrupting pot, it's, no one's really getting an advantage, but no one's really I'm actually getting closer to my objective than he is in a way, because he's not really shutting me down, and he's not creating the wave condition for me to chase me down the wave, which is this is all kind of falling into my trap plan, my ultimate trap plan, which is, again, you'll kind of see it unfold. So I'm just trading onto him. I don't actually think this was a good trade, and the reason this isn't a good trade, guys, is because look, the wave's already pushing to me. All I have to do is sit back here now, thin the wave a little bit, and then not, kind of tether his range. Because, again, me trading like this doesn't actually achieve anything. If anything, this is actually favoring him because Again, this is reducing the chances of me getting to 1100 gold. So that's definitely a mistake I've made this game. Now look at this. The wave's in a great position here. And you'll hear me talk a lot about wave position in this VOD when I talk about Twist of Fate, because it is absolutely crucial. Wave positioning, if you really want to climb to Challenger, like we're talking about Challenger level Twisted Fate gameplay here, waves are pretty much everything. And the reason that is because Twisted Fate is extremely immobile, extremely item dependent and level dependent. And if you die once in the early game, your game's pretty much ruined. And it is that extreme. I'm honestly dead serious. In Challenger, if you die once, your game is completely ruined. And the strategy just doesn't work. And this strategy is definitely hard to pull off. But once you kind of get the hang of it, you will climb so easily, I guarantee you. So now, again, look at this. This is so good for me. I'm just keeping this really good, nice little spot here. Again, trying to keep it outside my tower, trading whenever kind of Fizz comes near me. And again, I'm consciously thinking here, obviously, actually, before I go into that, notice how if the wave's in this spot, it's doing two things. It's allowing me to farm safe. It's actually making Fizz extremely vulnerable. And this is why Fizz is actually a bit of a 50-50 matchup, because Fizz can actually avoid my targeted CC. But if this was any other matchup, you know, if you're doing this versus any other immobile champion, they actually die to this gank here, because I can just flash stun card and then he dies, especially since he has Ignite. But it is what it is. But again, the ultimate purpose of me having the wave here is that I can get to my 1100 gold. I'm not going to die to any ganks. He can't kill me. So it's going really well so far. And the reason I'm not playing like a complete bitch, by the way, why I'm willing to trade HP. So you see those trades before I was willing to trade HP, is because if I play like a complete bitch and he actually saves like 2 corrupting pots or something like that, he can actually just ditch the wave completely and roam into the jungle and kill my jungler. But if I trade and make him use all his corrupting pots, I know that I'm going to come back with teleport. He's going to have no corrupting pots. He can't roam into the jungle. I'm going to be full resources, and then he's going to be completely screwed. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So everything you do in mid lane you have to have a purpose with it. That's like when you're playing, if you really want to climb to like the highest levels, you really got to have an identity. You have to have a purpose. And the analogy I use with Twisted Fate, guys, is like Twisted Fate is like a mixture between like a turtle and then like a lion. You have to be extremely patient and calculated. You know, like a turtle. I don't know if they're super calculated, but they're extremely patient and slow. But then you also got to have the striking power of a lion when you get that opportunity to get those kills and fulfill your identity as Twisted Fate. And it'll kind of show you how that kind of pans out in this game. So I'm getting very close to my 1100 gold here. I'm keeping the wave in a great spot. And making sure I'm not dying, using my red card there to kind of get those minions on the outside perimeter of the W. And notice, I actually forgot to tell you guys, I'm using my dematerializers on the range creeps only. So what that will do, if I use my dematerializers, all of my 3 dematerializers on the range creeps, once I get Rod of Ages and my Ether Wisp, my Q actually last hits all the range creeps. That's why you use your dematerializer on the range creeps. Always, never use it on any other minion. So now look at this, beautiful, bang. Look at this. Now I've got 1100 gold. I teleport, I base, get my Rod of Ages and a pink ward. Bang. Then I teleport back. Now look at this. Fizz has no corrupting pots. He's not going to be able to kill me anymore because I have bone plating. I have catalyst, so I'm actually really tanky. He has no items. He has not enough AP to kill me. And now he can't outpush me. So now ideally I'm going to do is start to ward, so I can start to play a little bit more aggressive. And I want to lock Fizz in the lane here. And the longer he's in lane here, the better it is for me, because I'm going to slowly get Chip on the tower. I'm going to hit 6 soon, and he's not going to be able to stop me from roaming. And this is where I'm at an insane advantage right now. So if I'm actually at 42 CS, he's at 22 CS, and that's also because when the wave is all the way up here, it's really difficult for Fizz to see us. That's the other reason as well. So guys, I've got the ward down. I've spotted Olaf on the Raptors here. I'm leaning onto the top side of the lane. Fizz is getting extremely frustrated now because I know where Olaf is, and Olaf can't gank me if I'm leaning onto the top side. And now I'm constantly keeping the wave, like I'm not letting him reset. I'm not letting him reset here. That's my goal, is to make sure he does not reset. Now, constantly using my abilities on him, so he has to drain his mana to dodge my abilities with E. And now I'm constantly looking down to shove him in, not let him reset, and get chip on the tower. And now, the beauty of this is, because I'm constantly shoving, and I'm level 6, if a side skirmish breaks out, I'm going to have the wave already pushed in, and then I'm going to be able to respond to a fight straight away. Imagine how frustrating you would be if you're a top laner or a bot lane or a jungler right now, knowing that this Twisted Fate's full HP with ultimate, can even swap to another summoner so you can't kill him, versus a mid laner with no resources, no items, and which Twisted Fate can roam anywhere on the map. Like, it's game over. Like, I'm exerting an insane amount of pressure without even doing anything. This is why this strategy is so effective. And now, look at this. I'm constantly pushing. Fizz is getting slowly kind of drained. I'm using my blue card, auto-attacking the tower. Look at this. Proc my demolish. Bang. And now I've got my first plate. It's already 5 minutes 50. Got my first plate here, guys. And actually, before we go on here, my next overall objective as Twisted Fate is I really want to get to my Rod of Ages as fast as possible. So that's what I'm aiming for. Bang, and making it really hard for Fizz to CS under tower as well, because I'm constantly harassing him. I've got my vision on one side of the lane here, so whenever Olaf shows on Raptors, you know, it's super easy for me to respond and not die to a gank. And if Soraka hadn't warded deep, I would have warded deep anyway, because I have another ward here. Constantly using my blue card on Fizz whenever I can, keep him chunked. And now Olaf's getting frustrated. He can't even go mid either. So he's just kind of chilling. I'm constantly shoving in Fizz, constantly never giving him an opportunity to reset. And just for the sake of this specific VOD, if I were Fizz, you kind of just have to accept reality and take the loss, like 2 plates loss, come back. Like, he shouldn't have put himself in this situation anyway. And this is why how you play the waves levels 1 to 3 on the first part of the laning phase can actually completely snowball for the rest of the game. Like, that's how bad it is. At the highest elo, like, that's what happens. Like, because Fizz screwed up, I'm just punishing him now for the way he's played the early lane poorly. Like, he's got himself in this hole. He has to take 2 plate loss. So now I walk up here. I proc my demolish again. I'm constantly looking at the side lanes, but I know that my bot lane's losing, so I really don't want to use my ult bot lane here. And then gets 2 plates. So bang, I'm already on 2 plates. 65 CS by 6 minutes 50. I'm 300 gold off my Rod of Ages. I have complete priority and I can ult wherever I want. So I was actually going to ult top and kill GP if KO didn't kill him. But my bot lane's getting slaughtered, so I really don't want to ult bot. As Twisted Fate, your first ultimate is absolutely crucial. If you fail your first ultimate, I reckon it actually decreases the chances of you winning by at least 50%. So I know from my experience, I can't really tell you why. It's a mixture of a lot of things, because then you slow down in terms of XP and CS because you're not in lane getting towards your core items. Since you're so ultimate based, like your champion is complete, like since you have no roam threat without your ultimate, they can just ignore you, and you're just a farm bot mid. You can't really do anything. They just play away from mid. I think that's the main reasons why. And you kind of need to constantly pick up the pace of the game when you're playing Twisted Fate. So I'm constantly thinking, if I'm going to ult, I need to make sure it's a kill. So now again, tying this back into my second objective is I really want my Rod of Ages. So I'm constantly shoving in. I've already got my 2 plates that I've gotten before. Bang. And the reason, one thing here, look at this. Perfects, I get to recall my 1500 gold for my Rod of Ages. So I've got a 72 CS at 7 minutes. I now can swap my summoner to whatever I need it to be. I've got my Rod of Ages by 7 minutes as well. And so this is where swapping your first summoner after you teleport back very much depends on the champion you're versing. Since I'm versing a Fizz, with Ignite, I felt like Barrier was the better decision. If I don't need the defensive element of the summoner spell, I can just go Ignite or Exhaust. I can even go Ghost. But if I'm versing someone without Ignite, sometimes I'll even go Heal. Very much depends on the state of the game, which you guys can kind of feel out for yourself. But I felt like Barrier would be a good summoner for me to allow me to survive that all-in burst. Now that I've got Rod of Ages, again, my strategy ties into the same thing. I want to be pushing, exerting my pressure on the sides with my ultimate threat, keeping Fizz in lane. And look at this. Fight happens top, bang, I ultimate, and I get a nice little kill onto this GP. First kill, 81 CS at 8 minutes. Fizz hasn't done a single thing. I've got 2 plates by myself. Fizz missed a bunch of CS trying to follow me into the river. Like, there's just no counterplay with this. Like if you play it properly, guys, this is what I'm talking about. So now I don't have ultimate. So this is where I got to be a little careful here. And I just kind of want to, now what I want to do ideally is stop Fizz from roaming, not give him a bunch of room, but I still got to be a little bit careful here because my Yi just made a kill show top, so he's back into his jungle farming up a storm. And the great thing about Twisted Fate is that you can stay in lane for such a long time because between your corrupting pot and your blue cards, it can be really you can just stay in lane for such a long time, which is really good. And again, focusing on my CS. I missed a bit of CS this game, which is kind of annoying. This specific wave, but still not too bad. And now what I wanted to do is start putting vision down so I can start pushing up my lane. So I walk into river here to try and get a ward in the river. So, and clear a pink. So again, the reason I'm doing this is because if I don't have vision in the river, I can't push out Fizz and keep him pinned under tower. So that's the reason I'm doing this. And Olaf tries to chase me. But I'm pretty bloody safe here with my barrier and Yi hovering me onto the bot side, so it's not too bad. Fizz actually uses ult, and this is absolutely crucial here. We ping 2 ults, we ping Olaf ult and Fizz ult. These are huge ultimates for the actual state of the game. And remember, guys, if you watched my videos before, as a mid laner, you need to be constantly assessing the level of kill threat on you and your kill threat on them. So I have way more kill threat on the enemy team now because Olaf doesn't have R. They have way less kill threat on me because Fizz doesn't have ultimate. So this is already telling me, this is feeding me information about, oh, well, I can play a little bit more aggressive now, can't I? So it's kind of putting this information together, and how it changes your gameplay is, it again requires testing and feeling out the game, but again, it's very logical, guys. It's very logical. Now, Fizz, if he wants to take these trades, like, I really don't care, like, look at this. If he uses E, then I stun card. I know he can't kill me. I still got barrier. I ping my W here, but yeah. And I know that I can't die. Again, I'm leaning to the right side, to my jungler. And we win these fights every single time. And this is the thing, right? Let's go back here. So again, notice how so I'm playing for the wave. I'm sitting max range here, just playing for the wave. Red card, and the reason I'm playing for wave here is because I think I was gonna look for reset. So he's getting frustrated because I'm just playing for the wave. I'm playing co-op versus AI in a way, and he's getting frustrated. So he has to overextend to kill me. And what you'll actually find when you play Twisted Fate is players get really frustrated and they don't know how to deal with this strategy. So what they'll do is they'll end up playing overly aggressive and end up either dying to ganks or making themselves extremely vulnerable, like this. Like, they're getting super frustrated. They don't even know that I've swapped to barrier. Like, I don't even know if they know I've swapped for barrier. They end up using 2 flashes. We end up killing Olaf on the back end here, which screws Olaf completely. I don't even need to use flash here. And again, what does this mean for me? Which means I can stay and get more plates. And I end up actually picking off Fizz in the back line there, which is really funny because he must have been typing raging or some shit, or even in buying in base. But I get another plate here. Look at this. This is getting out of control now. I'm getting so much CS, 101 CS by 10 minutes. They use GPL on the mid wave. I still get to farm it. And as you can see now, it's like I am ridiculously, he's 63 CS, I'm 106 CS. I've got 3 plates, nearly 4 plates in mid lane pretty much by myself. They've used 2 flashes trying to kill me, and I'm still alive. And I still got barrier. I haven't even needed to use my flash or my barrier. So now in terms of itemization, guys, I'm heading towards Zhonya's second. Why am I going Zhonya second this game, you may ask? 2 reasons. They have Fizz with a lot of dive threat. So if I get Zhonya's, I'm pretty much never going to die this game. Secondly, they pretty much have a full AD comp. They have GP, Olaf, and Lucian. So Zhonya's is going to be, or Seeker's at least, is going to be extremely efficient for me in terms of playing skirmishes. If I wasn't versing, if I was versing, remember, if I'm versing a less dive-oriented team or a less AD-oriented team, then I would just go Lichbane. Or even just Etherwisp into Zhonya's, depending on what you feel like is right for that specific game. And again, now you'll notice that my Q now 1 hits the back line. I'm going to be constantly pushing, and now that I have ultimate, leaning onto sides. And now I'm constantly, I want to have one side actually pinked so I can safely walk into the river and generate that threat for the team. So that's one other tip, guys. When you're playing Twisted Fate, when you have pink wards, just hover out of vision. When you shove the wave, just hover out of vision. Even if you don't have the intention to ult, they don't know what you're doing. So it's actually going to make the enemy on other lanes respect, which is actually going to help your other laners win, because then you're creating threat on them, which is making them change their gameplay. So sometimes Fizz can actually subtly win lanes for your side lanes just by hovering, which is a really interesting concept as well. So I was actually leaning top side, and then I thought I could maybe go bot, but my bot's still inting. And then what I'm doing now is just checking the river for wards, because I want to be able to ward safely. I ward over, I don't know why I don't ward over that, oh no. So the reason I don't ward over that ramp is actually I saw Olaf. Oh yeah, so I saw Olaf here cross onto top side. So I knew he was on top side, so I knew I didn't have to ward on bot side here. I already knew Olaf was on top side. And Fizz is, you know, trying to trade aggressively with me, but I'm not kind of playing that game. I'm just playing the co-op versus AI, play for wave, and hover out of vision to generate threat with my ultimate. And Yi is kind of just like perma-farming, so not really much I can do. I just kind of wait for an opportunity in the side lane, which is completely fine. Me just farming like this is completely fine. Like, I'm getting just stronger and stronger and stronger. Just hovering out of vision like this, generating threat, hover, 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 getting Scry's Bloom for my team. If I had a ward, I'd put a deep ward, but I don't. So their Lucian's quite fed. He's 3-1, so that's something I need to think about as well. Constantly keeping Fizz in lane. He can't recall. And so again, my intention is it's not really changing. Nothing special here, guys. Just playing for the wave. Because I know that I can't really punish Fizz under tower. The reason being is my jungler's perma-farming. He's not really playing an aggressive, like, invading-esque or ganking jungle. So there's not as many opportunities as I would have liked. And then secondly, I don't really have enough deep vision to spot out Olaf. So I don't feel confident poking him under tower. And it just feels like that's not the game we're playing. We're not playing towards mid. We're kind of playing towards sides at this specific point in time. So now I'm hovering top. I pinged GP here. I really want to go for GP because KO had ult. So I was thinking we could actually just dive this GP. So then I actually see Olaf here. I'm like, all right, let's just go and burn Olaf's ultimate. And then we chunk them both. We burn Olaf ultimate. We burn GP ultimate. And it's not a big deal. I didn't feel like... I knew that we probably couldn't kill them, but I felt like doing something was better than nothing because I felt like the game was kind of stalling out a little bit. I wouldn't usually recommend doing ultimates like that, but I just felt like nothing was happening. Like, my bot lane was slowly losing, my Yi's just farming, Kale's just farming top. I wanted to do something to create some sort of lead, even if it's at the sacrifice of my ultimate. So I don't know if that's actually the correct play. Like, that's the one thing this game that I wasn't sure of doing. But it's just a decision I made in that specific moment. I could have easily just stayed mid and played a slower game, but I kind of wanted to speed up the pace of the game for some reason. Like, a lot of the time I feel like when I'm playing Twisted Fate, I love speeding up the pace of the game. But yeah, I don't even know if that's the correct play or not. I think there's an argument for doing either. So now I come back, I finish my Zhonya's, so now I know that there's a lot less threat on me at the moment. But again, my strategy is not really going to change. I want to keep Fizz in lane. I want to be... oh, actually, one great thing about that play before, KO was able to get top tower off that, which is pretty good. Another concept, guys, that I actually haven't spoken about in this VOD specifically is that when playing Twisted Fate, you generally want to use your ultimate on one side only. So generally how I find my games going is that you have one lane that wins and then one lane that loses. This is because in draft, one of your sides is most likely going to get counterpicked and the other is going to get counterpicked. Or, you know, you might just have a better player on one side. If you see one of your sides winning, it's better to get that side ahead than try and compensate for one losing side. Because generally, even if you help your losing side, they're going to continue to lose anyway. So it's kind of better to get yourself ahead and that one side ahead through getting constantly kills and getting that one side really, really fed, because Twisted Fate can actually get one side extremely fed rather than, you know, isolating one lane. They're not going to get as far ahead as you. So, and that's because multiple reasons. Obviously, you're going to get towers faster because I have Demolish. I can help the one side get tower, but that's just what I found in terms of getting climbing elo. That's kind of how I found what I found myself doing and working. So then I was actually super surprised here that they would even go for this kill. I end up using Zhonya's here. I have Flash and Barrier. I thought it was fine. I used Barrier first. Maybe I should have used Flash first straight away. Maybe I would have survived, but he ends up cleaning the kill on the back end. But this is probably the one time that I definitely disrespected their kill threat. I was kind of shocked that they were able to get that kill. Anyway, off the back of it, Yi ends up finishing off that mid tower that I've gotten really, really low. I'm still going really good. I'm 140 CS by 15 minutes. I end up TPing bot here to see if I can get a sneaky little kill on Lucian, but I couldn't go for it. He kind of backed up early, and I didn't know where Nami was, so I couldn't end up going for it, which isn't a big deal because I was going to have to TP, but I was going to TP back mid anyway, so it wasn't a complete big deal. So, this is when it starts to get into mid game, guys. So, once you've got mid tower, it gives you a lot more room to be able to ultimate around the map. This is where you can start to really impact sides. Like, look at that. Look how much. Now, look at this. I can get the wave all, like, I'll draw on the minimap here. I can get the wave now all the way down to tier 2. It means I can move my vision deeper. It means now I have way more time to move onto sides and threaten sides. This is what getting mid tower does. Getting mid tower actually means it's usually GG. In most of my games, like I can get this sort of vision, which is ridiculous. Now we can see Olaf all the way. If Olaf shows him bot river here, I mean his bot jungle, like we can just do whatever we want. So now Fizz doesn't know shit. Like Fizz is just super scared. Like he's like, well, I don't know what's going on here. His team has to back him up. Kayle should just be pushing top, but it seems like they were kind of contesting Dragon. Again, I just want to be constantly pushing mid and looking to generate some sort of man advantage. Fight. They use Rift mid. Unfortunately, my team wasn't really in a position to contest this Dragon, so I think they end up just getting Dragon here. Because their bot lane was just really fed, and Yi and Kayle were kind of late to this fight. And I don't think our comp actually wins these fights. So what I should have done here, guys, like in hindsight, what I should have done is actually ping said give Dragon. Like this is more solo queue, not Twisted Fate specifically. When you can identify, if you look, even though I'm fed, I'm not good in team fights here. They have GP, they have a fed like bot lane. It's just going to be a really difficult fight for us to win. I really feel like if Kayle just constantly pushes top, we trade off Dragon, we can even dive GP, or just, I can ult behind him, force his ult, and then we can get top tower. We can get other advantages rather than contesting this. So, as Twisted Fate, given that your team fighting isn't that good, you either want to be getting a man advantage before a fight, so making a pick, or just calling off objectives as a whole. So I should have made the call here to not go for this and just play for top side here, which is my bad. So as this plays out, my team kind of goes in a little bit. I end up getting a kill on the back end, but this kind of ties into when playing Twisted Fate. You really need to be thinking about what sort of fights are favorable for you. So I use my ultimate here because I kind of see them low. And I end up swapping to Ignite earlier on before, because I didn't really need the defensive capability since I already have Zhonya's. So then I see them quite low. So I kind of walk in here. I think Olaf tries going for me. I Ignite him, we kill him. And then we force GP's flash here as well. So they get Dragon, but we end up getting some kills on the back end of it. So the game's kind of slowing down a little bit, which is a little bit annoying because our bot lane kind of got destroyed this game. But now we put all our resources in like our top laner and me and our Yi. So we got to kind of play around that, and we got to play to our champion strength, which is not team fighting at this specific point. We have stronger sides, so let's play to the stronger sides here. That's what I should be. That's what should my mindset should be in this game, and that's what it was after that fight. I realized at that specific moment, like I need to be shot calling a little bit more. So now, what I should have been doing as well is that I should have been sending my AD and support mid. When you're really fed as Twisted Fate, being in the side lane is so important, because not only do you get towers fast with your demolish, but you can get to fights faster with your ultimate, and you can shove waves super fast. So you can actually generate a ridiculous amount of tempo on your opponent in the side lane because you just one-tap waves. So this is actually a huge benefit. So now I see Fizz top. And the reason I was going bot here is because I really didn't want to contest this Rift Herald. I just wanted to play for towers in the side lane. So I'm just using my demolish. I get towers super fast. You also get attack speed with your E. And, you know, I've got my Sheen as well. So I'm working towards my Lich Bane. So I get towers really fast here, guys. And this is why when you're ahead on Twisted Fate, it's just a good time. It's just a really good time. Even though this guy has a bit of MR, like, he can't do shit to me. And now I'm just playing, again, I'm just creating advantages with my team by getting towers, constantly leaning in between waves to threaten the ultimate. And I'm slowly choking out the opponent. So I'll fast forward a little bit here, kind of goes into a bit of a lull state. I get to my Lich Bane, and then I go in the side lane again. And so I remember typing in chat here, we need to fight this dragon. And what I was actually doing, I don't know if you'll see it, but I actually, I say, we need to kill Lucian. So I pressed tab, and I remember seeing they had no cleansers, and they had no QSSs, they had no Mikhails. So this is another important tip when you're playing Twisted Fate. When heading into a fight, there's two things you're either going to be doing. Again, I'm being on top side here, knowing that if Fizz matches me on top, he's not going to have teleport, and I am. Or I'm going to be able to ultimate to the fight, and he's not. So we're going to have either a man advantage, which is how you create some form of advantage heading into the fight, or you identify who can get one shot with your combo, given that they don't have cleanse, and then you played 100 to 0 one person in the fight. So here I remember typing in chat, guys, we need to kill Lucian. I'll CC him. We can kill him. They have no cleanses. Fizz tries to go on me with ultimate. Which is so good for me. So I end up like just cleansing it, just Zhonyazing it. Now I want to get in position for the fight. So I actually ghost because I was a little bit out of position. I start up my gold card just in case a fight breaks out, and now I'm going straight to this dragon fight. So now Fizz doesn't have ultimate, which is really, really big. He's actually chunked. I chunked him quite a little bit. And I want to be constantly pushing a wave, making them react to the wave, and then coming into the fight. I don't want to be grouped front to back here. I want to be assassinating someone with the team. So I use my ultimate. I kind of pull them from side to side. I get a full combo onto Lucian here. And the fight's looking really, really good. I get another stun card onto the Lucian. And then I kill him with my empowered auto attack, and then we actually end up getting Baron. So look at this. This was all off me. So, like, sorry, like I sound like I got a big ego, but this is huge. I created an advantage by firstly shoving in mid-wave, which means that someone's going to have to show mid-wave. Like, they're either going to lose CS, like now Fizz shows on mid-wave here. I use my ultimate to spot out where everyone is. I've already communicated, and now by me showing here and showing on mid-wave, these guys, they're less inclined to go forward into the dragon, and because I'm splitting them, I'm like, oh, Twisted Fate can just come from behind us and assassinate us. So I'm making them make a choice. Do they want to go on me? Because this was obviously warded here. Do they want to go on me, or do they want to go for the dragon? So then when I kind of pull them in, we end up getting the dragon, and then I shot call to go onto the Lucian. And now Olaf's trying to peel, but it doesn't matter because I've got backline access. And he ends up dying, and we end up killing the Lucian. So it's good target selection, good positioning, and now we end up getting Baron, and we pretty much win the game off this Baron. Like, this is pretty much the game now. So, and then to fast forward a little bit, we get the Baron. I come into the side lane as Twisted Fate. Generally, what you want to be doing when you're getting Baron is 4-1-ing or 1-3-1-ing. I see a man advantage because Fizz is reacting to the bot wave. I know I can get to the fight before him. So then I wait for them to be in the position, and then we just one-tap the Lucian, and then we just win the game. So, there's a lot, I know there's a lot of information in this game. Before I end this video, I want to go over at least the early laning phase in one more video, so bear with me. I think it's very important for you guys to see, and then we'll kind of round up the video. So keep watching, guys. So in this VOD here, guys, I'm actually versing a Kassadin. And the reason I'm showing you this VOD before, rather than just ending the video with the Fizz one, is because I think it's important to see a different style of laning phase when playing the strategy. And the reason it's different, guys, is two reasons. First of all, I'm versing a very low threat jungler, versing a Karthus, which means there's way less gank threat on me, and I know I can play a lot more aggressive. And then I also have an earlier ganking jungler. I have a Vi. And the other piece of information you need to know is that Kassadin went electrocute and ignite. So this is how I shut down a Kassadin. Knowing that I have TP advantage, what should I do? And I'm versing a range versus melee. Well, I want to be getting a minion advantage, right? Because when you get minion advantage in range versus melee, and I know that I can't get punished by the enemy jungler, I can poke them under tower. So I'm using my red card on everyone, all the minions, to try and get the shove. I was auto-attacking the minion at the start of the wave, and so I'm trying to get this minion advantage here. Once I can get this minion advantage, the reason why it's so important is obviously, if I have the minion advantage, I'm going to be able to play with my minions to take trades onto this guy, and then also, the bigger this wave gets, Kassadin's going to have to make a choice between queuing minions or queuing me. And then if he ever queues minions, then I can walk up super aggressively and then use my abilities on him, and he just loses trades. So again, just tying it back into the strategy, guys. My strategy still doesn't change. I still want to get to 1100 gold. My first objective, I still want to get to 1100 gold, but I want to be making sure that I'm playing a lot more aggressive because I know I can't really get ganked early. I want to be utilizing my auto attacks. I want to be constantly poking him as much as I can because, again, remember, guys, if I can get to 1100 gold and make sure he has no corrupting pots and I teleport back with full resources, he's pretty much completely screwed, guys. So we pretty much want to replicate this same strategy, but with a lot more aggression, given the jungle matchup's different. And I kind of want to show you how this plays out. So notice here I've got my minion advantage. Now Kassadin's having to use Q on minions. And now, again, I'm just poking Kassadin whenever I can with my W, my Qs. Looking to auto attack whenever Kassadin goes up to auto attack the minions. W, Q, constantly pushing. Get level up my E here. Making sure that I'm not missing CS though. You really want to making sure that you're not missing CS. So that's super important. So I've got decent CS so far. Auto attacking whenever he goes up. So I've already got some decent damage onto this Kassadin so far. Now just chucking an extra safe ward down. So now I know 100% that I can lean onto one side. Nothing too special going on here, guys. Again, just poking under tower. Forcing Kassadin to either not hit CS whatsoever or just take damage for hitting the CS. So notice how I'm getting such a big advantage already. Like he's used both 2 corrupting pots already, is on half HP. I've still got, I'm full HP with a whole corrupting pot lead on top of him. Karthus shows top there, which is good for me because now I know that it's definitely an isolated 1v1. And now Kassadin's got a little bit of a shove here. I use my dematerializer on the range creep. Remember, guys, you want to be using your dematerializers on the range creep. I want to be trying to get, now that the wave's kind of settled again, I want to be trying to get a minion advantage. And whenever I have my stacked deck, E passive, I want to be using that on Kassadin. So I'm 700 gold. I'm getting quite close to my dematerializer here. Making sure whenever I feel like I'm low with mana, I use my blue card. Creating my second wave of stacked minions. And the other great thing about this strategy, guys, when you have the aggressive jungler and they have the defensive jungler, you're adding strength onto your jungler by constantly pushing, which means, because generally, if there's a river skirmish, you're always going to get to the fight first, and it's actually going to allow your jungler to potentially get double scuttle, which is also really, which is an awesome thing for your jungler as well. So I use my dematerializer on the range creep again. I'm pushing to help, potentially if there's a fight in river, I can back up my jungler. 32 CS by 4 minutes, not too bad. Now I'm just chipping tower whenever I can. I was going to help Vi on the river here. So I start walking down, but then the fight ends up going towards bot, but I think they end up just killing Karthus here without me here. So anyway, so which is really, really good. So now not only am I going to get to any of these river skirmishes first, my jungler now, it actually helps my jungler get double scuttle, which is a huge advantage for my jungler. So now I'm at 1100 gold, guys. So what do I want to do? When I get an opportunity, I want to reset, and I want to keep this lane isolated. I want to keep Kassadin pinned in the lane. So that, why am I not resetting now though? Is because if I reset now, there's no reason why Kassadin can't also just reset. So, but if I keep shoving like this, it's going to kind of put the panic onto Kassadin, knowing that if he resets now, I'm just going to hit tower for free. So I want to make sure that there's a wave for Kassadin to react to before I reset, because during the time that he's hitting the CS and then I teleport, then I come back. So look at this. Now it gives me time while he's hitting the CS to then teleport. That's why I kind of wait for a wave. Now I come back with my catalyst and a pink ward like I've done the last game. I teleport back into the lane, and now Kassadin's like, oh shit, okay. Do I want to, I use my red card on the wave, Q through it, bang. And do I want to stay and catch this wave under tower, or do I want to just reset, maybe lose a plate, and, you know, and cop the advantage that Twisted Fate's going to have? So Kassadin ends up staying. And a lot of inexperienced laners, you'll verse this a lot as well, is that they will end up just staying. And this is what exactly happened in the Fizz game. He ends up staying. I use my blue card on the tower. I proc my demolish. Now I've already got my first plate. Now Kassadin doesn't have teleport here. He's got no jungle pressure. He's got no resources. I've got 3 corrupting pots. He's got 0 corrupting pots. I can constantly keep shoving him in because my wave clear is so good. And it's making this, you know, and then he ends up recalling now, realizing what he's done. So he ends up sacrificing another plate. And again, this whole time, guys, I can ult whenever I want. I can ult to a side whenever I want. I can do whatever I want here. Like, imagine, again, being on the enemy team here, knowing that your Kassadin's recalling. Like, your Kassadin's recalling and doing nothing. Where Twisted Fate's Pard pushing in, has all this level 6 ultimate threat. Can get to every single river skirmish first, and look at this, and then end up getting another plate here. So I'm already 500 gold away from my Rod of Ages already. I'm 60 CS by 6 minutes 30, and then I'm constantly hovering using my pinks on one side so I can lean to one side and generate threat. I swap to Ignite because I don't need the defensive capabilities, and I'm just checking if there's a fight going to break out bot, because then I'll ultimate, and then a fight breaks out, so then I end up ulting bot onto this Varus. They trade a kill, but I end up getting a nice little kill onto this Varus on the back end of it. And then while I'm here again, I just shove out the wave. I tell Vi ping tower and tell Vi to just cover mid. Because ideally if Vi just covers mid, then Kassadin can't get any damage on my tower. So then I shove this wave in, which is nothing too special here. I've got my first kill. I can... Oh, and then I end up staying and proccing my Demolish. And the reason I do that is because if you proc Demolish, then I can get a nice little plate, then go back to base. For some reason, Vi and Kassadin traded kills, which is not good for me because Kassadin with kills is better than Vi. But on the upside of this, I'm 66 CS by 7 minutes. I'm already got 1700 gold, which means I can get my rower and complete my second objective with getting my Rod of Ages. I can come back, get another pink, fast forwarding this a little bit. I actually asked Vi, did Kassadin use anything? Because I want to know if he has flash or anything. But my strategy doesn't change here, guys. I want to be constantly harassing him, shoving him under tower. Whenever I get an opportunity, using my ultimate on the side lane. But you can kind of see, guys, I've already got 2 plates on my own. I've already made a side lane kill. I'm so far ahead of Kassadin in terms of gold. He got a bit of XP on me because he got the kill on Vi. But I'm trying to proc my Demolish whenever I can. If Kassadin wants to take these trades on me, I win them on the back end anyway, like that, by utilizing my stack deck and my auto attacks. And the beauty of doing this, guys, and something that I don't actually see many people talk about, is that when you have such big shove on mid, Doinby actually does this in when he played for FPX. He shoves in mid, and then he goes into river to check if there's any fruit. And you can actually check if there's fruit on the minimap. See, there's like that green dot in the river here. I see there's a fruit, so I chuck a ward down here. I actually get all the 6 fruit, and then I come back with way more resources than Kassadin, and then I rinse repeat. My ult's coming back in 22 seconds. And so you guys, you can kind of see within this VOD and how it's a little bit different to the Fizz one. I'm playing a lot more aggressive. I'm playing a lot more independently, especially in the early laning phase. The strategy is still the same. It's still push, generate threat, move to fights way before the enemy. Again, creating advantages through playing the waves. But I'm playing a lot more for chunking the enemy rather than just playing for the wave. Because Fizz, because of the jungle matchup, I'm able to kind of push my limits a lot more. So... And again, it's rinse repeat. I get my blue buff, constantly pushing in Kassadin. I get another plate. Just fast forwarding this again. It's pretty self-explanatory, guys. I get a 4th plate on my own, which is pretty insane. I've got 110 CS by 11 minutes. I've got another 1800 gold by 11 minutes. And then I end up just ulting bot, getting another kill onto the Xerath here with my team. And that's pretty much game. It's 12 kills to 4. I've ulted bot twice. Kassadin hasn't done a single thing. I've already got a ridiculous amount of CS and gold by 12 minutes. And then the game's pretty much over because I snowballed bot now. We end up getting bot tower and getting all dragons because we have all river control. And then the game's pretty much over. So, there's a lot in this video, guys. And I'm very passionate about Twisted Fate. And I want you guys to try this. To have a go trying this strategy if you really want to climb. But again, if you don't like Twisted Fate... He is a bit of an awkward champion to play, and it can be very difficult when you first... I entered on him for a long time. But if you have any questions at all about Twisted Fate, just feel free to let me know. I pretty much know everything there is to know about Twisted Fate. So, thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, let me know how you enjoy the video. And don't forget to join the Discord as well. I reply to a lot of comments in there. Cheers. Thanks for watching.